Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the profound psychology of Bhagavad Gita Chapter 14. We're going to take a step-by-step journey through the yoga of the distinction between the three gunas. You know, if you've ever wondered why you feel brilliantly clear and focused one day, completely restlessly driven the next, and then just totally sluggish the day after that, well, ancient Indian philosophy actually has a remarkably precise framework for exactly that.
Here's our roadmap for today. We've got 1. Bound by material nature. 2. Defining the three gunas. 3. The fruits at death. 4. Marks of the Gunatraya. And finally, 5. The path to liberation. Let's jump right into Section 1, Bound by Material Nature.
To really get Chapter 14, we have to start with the fundamental problem of the human condition. In this ancient, eternal dialogue, Lord Krishna reveals to the warrior Arjuna that the soul is essentially trapped in the material world by invisible forces. The soul itself? It's pure, indestructible, and infinite. But the moment it enters the physical realm, it gets tangled up.
So how exactly does that tangling happen? Well, it boils down to two absolutely crucial Sanskrit words, prakriti, meaning material nature, and gunas. The source text describes prakriti as a cord literally woven from three gunas, and guna literally translates to a strand or a rope. So think of it this way, material nature is quite literally chaining down the infinite soul to thought and matter using these three distinct ropes. It's like a cosmic tie-down. Which brings us to Section 2, Defining the Three Gunas. Now we get to explore these three specific strands, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, and see exactly how they manipulate our consciousness. This framework breaks down how each guna actually manifests in our lives. First up is Sattva, the mode of goodness, which is defined by illumination and truth. It feels great, but here's the catch. It still binds the soul through an attachment to happiness and knowledge. Next is Rajas, the mode of passion. This one is all about thirst and desire, and it ties us down through this endless attachment to action, restlessness, and greed. And finally, we have Tamas, the mode of ignorance. This is the heaviest rope of all. It's defined by darkness and sloth, and it binds us through negligence, delusion, and sleepiness.
So how does this play out in your day-to-day? You can actually feel which guna is dominating your current state of mind. Chapter 14 tells us that when Sattva is running the show, the clear light of knowledge literally shines through all the gates, or the senses, of your body. You just feel incredibly lucid and pure. But when Rajas takes over, greed, restless motion, and this constant burning need to undertake new actions just bubble up. You know that feeling where you literally cannot sit still? That's Rajas.
And conversely, when Tamas takes over, we sink into this heavy, almost depressive state. The text specifically characterizes this as darkness, negligence, delusion, and just a total lack of awareness taking over. It's that feeling of being totally mentally fogged in, lazy, and profoundly unmotivated. Now, the wild part is, every single person is constantly being pulled by shifting, dynamic combination of these three ropes.
Moving on to Section 3, the fruits at death.
Now, these gunas completely dictate our daily lives, sure, but what happens when our physical life ends under the influence of these different states? The Bhagavad Gita doesn't just treat these as psychological moods. They have profound, literal, cosmic consequences. The text outlines a specific trajectory for the soul at the hour of death, based entirely on which guna is dominant at that exact moment.
Here's how it works. Those dying while Sattva is dominant ascend upward to the pure, stainless worlds of those who know the highest. If a person dies while Rajas is the prevailing force, well, they're reborn right back in the middle, in the mortal realm, among those endlessly attached to action and stress. And if Tamas dominates at death, the soul sinks downward, reborn from the wombs of the deluded. It's a continuous, binding cycle of reincarnation driven completely by the gunas.
Section 4. Marks of the Gunatraya. Seeing this endless, exhausting cycle of reincarnation, we naturally hit the critical pivot point of the chapter. Arjuna asks the exact question we're all wondering right now. What are the marks of a man who has risen above the three qualities? What's his conduct? And how does he actually go beyond them? In other words, how does someone behave when they've completely stepped off this karmic ladder? To answer this, Krishna introduces the concept of the Gunatraya. This literally translates to one who has crossed over or transcended the three gunas. By breaking free from those ropes of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, this person is totally released from the sufferings of birth, death, old age, and pain. They ultimately attain immortality. The text beautifully describes this transcended soul as someone who possesses just profound equanimity. They remain completely steady whether they're facing freezing cold or blistering heat, pleasure or pain. They are exactly the same in honor and dishonor. They're completely free from those endless, anxiety-inducing undertakings driven by rajas. They are, essentially, perfectly balanced. Now, the psychology behind that balance is absolutely fascinating. Instead of getting tangled in the ropes of emotion and action, the Gunatita simply observes the world. When things happen around them, or even to their own physical bodies, they don't get swept away. They simply observe and realize the gunas alone are acting. It's just material nature interacting with material nature. The eternal self inside, it remains completely untouched.
And that brings us to Section 5, the path to liberation.
The theory is gorgeous, for sure, but what is the practical method here? How do we actually achieve this ultimate freedom and become a Gunatita? Well, Krishna reveals a three-part framework to transcend material nature. First, mentally, you have to perceive no doer other than the gunas, meaning you've got to let go of your ego's illusion of control. Second, you must fix your knowledge on the Supreme Being, which exists completely outside and above these material ropes. And third, and absolutely most importantly, you must serve with the unswerving yoga of devotion.
The absolute cornerstone of the solution, as Krishna explains, is bhakti, unswerving exclusive devotion to the divine. It's this pure devotion that acts as the ultimate catalyst. It literally lifts the soul completely out of the binding influence of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, and makes the practitioner ready to become one with the ultimate reality, Brahman.
By offering one's actions and heart to the divine, the seeker is no longer generating their own personal karma. They attain what the Gita calls Brahmanirvana. And this isn't just some empty blank void, it's a state of lasting eternal peace and total freedom from that painful, repetitive cycle of rebirth.
Lord Krishna concludes this wildly powerful chapter with an incredibly majestic declaration. He states that he himself is the very foundation of this immortal state. He is the basis of the imperishable, of the eternal law, and of absolute everlasting joy. He is the ultimate reality waiting for us just beyond the illusions of the three gunas.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to turn inward for a second and just ask yourself, which invisible rope is pulling your mind right at this very moment? Are you feeling the heavy sluggishness of Tamas, the restless, greedy drive of Rajas, or maybe the lucid, joyful calm of Sattva? Recognizing these forces shifting inside you is a huge, crucial first step to self-awareness. But remember what Chapter 14 teaches us. Even the golden rope of Sattva is still a rope. True spiritual freedom, true immortality, is found when we finally look beyond the matrix, connect with the divine, and let go of the ropes of material nature entirely. Keep that thought with you today as you watch the gunas play out in your own life.